There are a lot of men who fantasize about this thing. They dream about being heroes. They dream about helping others. And you only need to look at all the movies that are out there, movies where the primary target audience is represented by men, especially young men. And I would say yes, especially young and straight men. And you see that in these movies are about heroes or superheroes, and there is a very strong connection with religions and with characters in religion, like for example Jesus or Buddha or Muhammad. And the strong connection that I'm going to talk about now, this character, this fictional character about this guy who shows up and he saves the moment, he saves the situation, he saves people. What is the difference between Superman and Jesus? You would say, well, Superman is part of, cartoons or, I don't know, just fiction and book, but Jesus is part of religion, is part of Christianity and Roman Catholicism and so on. But actually there is a very strong connection, because these guys, they both have super powerful, supernatural powers. Jesus can fly in the sky like a supersonic jet. He can turn time back, he can do amazing things. He's stronger, more powerful than a truck, than a train, than an airplane. And Jesus can walk on water. He can perform magic tricks. He could basically turn, you can make bread and fish appear in front of you by magic. He can actually cure the disease, people who have an illness. So Superman and Jesus have these special superpowers, and this is a dream or a fantasy that a lot of young men have. So it's not a surprise that in our culture, in our societies, for hundreds of years, for thousands of years, a lot of men, especially young men, had this dream, this fantasy of being a superhero, because Jesus is seen as a hero, as a superhero, someone with supernatural powers. And when Christian parents say to their sons, don't you just want to be like Jesus? It's a bit like, Superman or Batman or whatever man, or Spider-Man or any kind of other superhero. These guys who have supernatural powers and can do amazing things. Basically, all these things, either in superhero characters or religion, all these things, wonderful things that these superheroes can do, Jesus or Superman can do, your fantasy, the fantasy that you had, maybe you still have that fantasy now, and you had at least once in your life. Millions and millions of men have the exact same fantasies, and they had the exact same fantasies for generations, for hundreds of years, for thousands of years. Basically, it's this sort of twisted desire to do amazing things, to impress and to save people, to save other human beings. What a noble thing, what a wonderful thing, to have this desire to help others and to save other people in need. But actually this, what appears to be a noble desire to help others, it's actually hiding other things. It's hiding, first of all, a lot of narcissism, because not only you're going to save other people, but you're also going to be worshipped and rewarded by others. Jesus is worshipped. People love Superman in all those movies. People love Jesus. All the admiration and all the honor that comes with, all the rewards and all the approval. What is that saying? It's saying that the desire is not just to save people, but to have also to get, after such an honorable thing, to have, their admiration. So the ultimate goal is not just to save people, because there is something else. That's not the last part. The last part seems to be to save people, but there is something which comes after, which is the admiration. So this dream, this desire of saving people, is falsely suggesting you that the desire is just to save people for the sake of saving, for the sake of being good and being completely in favor of altruism, being completely selfless. But in reality, the real, perhaps secret and unconscious desire there is to get the admiration of people who will love you, who will admire you, and who will actually give you, finally give you attention and approval. Now, certain things about this. Well, first of all, like I said, I'm making these videos and this series about the rule number series, and all these videos I gave certain rules. I said that you eliminate anything that could be considered pretty or beautiful from men, and especially from young men and boys. You remove hair, you cut their hair short, you remove colorful clothes, you do so many things, you change so many things, so that you are basically, you mutilate them, you remove the foreskin, you put them on drugs, you drug them when they go to school, and then you humiliate them, you constantly mutilate, you constantly humiliate them, you mortify them, you make them feel inadequate, you make them feel bad about themselves, you hammer their minds with concepts like mansplaining and manspreading and rape culture and rape apologists. Basically, all of these things work together so that young men, young boys, boys and young men will grow up thinking that the society doesn't care about them. They're mutilated and they're not given the right to give consent. Who gives a fuck? We don't care about you. Those long hair is not for you. That's for girls. Pretty things are not for you. Colors are not for you. Nice things. You're not allowed to cry. You can't even cry, right? All these things are taken away from boys so that they grow up. They will grow up thinking that people around them don't really give a fuck, unless of course they do something amazing. That's the trick, that's the real goal. You mortify them and you humiliate them. You make them feel like shit until they will, not only, like I said before in my last video, they will feel guilty. So they will think, okay, I am guilty, I have male privilege. I am indirectly responsible because I'm guilty by proxy. I'm indirectly responsible of things like rape culture or rape apology and so on. So I am guilty and I have to do something, to compensate the society because of my actions, which in fact aren't my actions, but they are the actions of someone else. All these things are put there to make you feel bad about yourself. And you're going to feel bad about yourself, you're going to feel guilty for things you haven't done, so that you're going to think, sooner or later, you're going to think, I'm such an asshole, I'm a rape apologist, I am a bastard and I have male privilege, I have to do something for my society. And that is going to lead you to have these weird fantasies. The fantasy that has been going on for thousands of years in young men, very small boys and young men, is I am such a piece of shit, I am a worthless piece of garbage, I'm crap, I feel guilty, I have to do something. But wouldn't it be wonderful if I was a superhero and I could actually, I could show up from nowhere and save people who are in danger? Who knows, maybe finally people would love me. They would finally approve me. They would finally give me the attention that I have been denied since I was very young. So this fantasy of the superhero or the Jesus, I want to be just like Jesus. I want to have supernatural powers so that I can cure the disease. I want to be like Superman or Batman or Spider-Man. I want to have supernatural, super powerful superpowers that I can cure people, that I can cure disease, that I can perform better, I can save others. And this is a constant fantasy that a lot of men have. Black men, white men, straight men, gay men, old men, young men, religious men, atheist men, all men have these fantasies. These fantasies are there, and they're telling us a story. I have been denied respect, dignity, and honor for my entire life. I have been treated like shit. They have denied me the basic emotions, and then they have accused me of being dry. First you tell boys you're not allowed to cry. Hey, what the fuck is you're not a girl? What are you, a sissy? What are you, a girl? You're a faggot? You're a man up. And this is still, we tell boys that they're not allowed to cry. You're not allowed to express your feelings, your emotions. You're not allowed to empathize with other men and other boys. You basically deny all emotions, all feelings, all empathy, all sympathy, everything. You make them feel bad about themselves to the point. And then after, you're even going to accuse them that they're dry, they're emotionless, that they don't have emotional intelligence the way feminists are doing, to the point that they're going to feel so bad about themselves that not only, like I said before in my previous video, they're going to feel guilty about themselves, and they're going to think, I have to do something because I'm guilty. And I made the example about someone who goes to your house, they break something, they go, oh, I'm so sorry, I broke something, let me give you some money. So this sort of sense of guilt that our society, our culture is teaching young men and boys. You're guilty. You're a rape apologist. You have male privilege. You're part of the patriarchy. You're a misogynist. You're a woman hater. You know, Emma Watson, who shows up at the United Nations organization, make you feel guilty. Men, we need your help. What? We need your help. You need to help women. What? Only women are suffering in Africa? What are African men partying? Are they drinking champagnes? Are they driving their Lamborghinis and Ferraris? Aren't men in Africa poor just like women? But who gives a fuck about them, right? You make men feel extremely bad about themselves. You make them feel guilty. You mortify them constantly. Now, how do you explain feminism? You explain it just like that, because feminism is pure female nature. It's just female nature on steroids. I tried to deal with Janice Flamengo, and I also made a video about her before. Now I don't have a lot of time. Now I only have 3 minutes. Basically, Janice Flamengo has written a comment to me, and she basically wrote, wow, some of my inner thoughts are articulated in your post. I will explore some of these ideas in coming videos. I agree that the distinction between feminism and women is not easily maintained. I do recognize those traits of narcissism, selfishness, parasitism, dishonesty, vindictiveness, weakness, and so on that you identify. Because I told Janice Flamengo that I don't think it's fair that we only criticize feminism and we leave women in peace, and now we have all these cool women against feminism. I'm not an idiot, and I'm not fooled by this, you know. They don't fool me, because I think that there is something particularly nasty in female, something quite toxic, and I would say rather sinister in female nature, because I think that part of this crap that is happening and has been going on for hundreds of years is this sense of guilt. I have seen it in my family. I have seen the way women have treated me and the men in my family, the way they use psychological manipulation, and it goes beyond feminism. That's not just part of feminism, that's female nature. They do the exact same shit in India, in China, in the third world. Don't talk to me about feminism. This constant hammering that I was talking about before, if I only had a hammer, I would use it to smash the patriarchy. Oh yes, I found it. That's not a feminist hammer. That's a female hammer. That's what women and wives and girlfriends and daughters and mothers and sisters do all the time. They make you feel bad about yourself. They take you to the hairdresser. They cut your hair very short. They avoid all colors. They deny you any emotions. They tell you you're not allowed to cry. You're not allowed to express they make you dry, and then they're going to use that against you. You have no emotional intelligence. They make you feel bad about yourself, so they're going to feel guilty. You're going to think, oh, I have to make up, I have to do something because I'm guilty of male privilege and patriarchal privilege. And then you have these fantasies because you spend all your life feeling bad about yourself, and you've been dreaming, I wish I could save people so that they could finally love me.